All right, so if you've ever tried to build anything real-time, you've probably slammed right into this question, WebSocket or Socket.io. They sound alike, but trust me, they're worlds apart, and that's exactly what we're going to unpack right now.
Look, if you take away just one thing from all this, let it be this. WebSocket is the protocol. It's like the fundamental set of rules, the language itself. Socket.io, that's a library. It speaks that language, sure, but it also builds this whole comfy layer on top with features, backup plans, you name it. It's an abstraction, plain and simple.
And honestly, the best way to wrap your head around this is with this analogy. Think of WebSocket as the raw, powerful engine. It's built for one thing, speed, and it does that job incredibly well. Socket.io, on the other hand, is the entire car built around that engine. You get the comfy leather seats, the steering wheel, the AC, the GPS, all the bells and whistles that make the ride smooth and easy. But all those features, they add weight, they add complexity.
Okay, so here's our game plan. First, we'll really nail down that protocol versus library idea. Then, we're going to pop the hood and inspect the engine. That's WebSocket. After that, we'll take the full car, Socket.io, for a little spin. We'll do a head-to-head comparison, build out a framework to help you decide, and then talk about what happens when you push that car to its absolute limit. All right, first up, protocol versus library. Like I said, this is the most important thing to get right from the start. We're not comparing two equal things. We're talking about the bedrock foundation and the house that's built on top of it. So let's start with that foundation, the engine itself. Meet WebSocket. This is the low-level protocol that really makes high-speed, two-way communication on the modern web possible. So what exactly is it? Well, at its heart, WebSocket is a web standard. It's baked right into your browser. What it does is create this single, long-lasting connection between a client and a server. And the real magic here is that it's full duplex. Now, that's just a fancy way of saying both sides can talk at the same time. Think of it like a phone call, instead of taking turns like you're using walkie-talkies, which is kind of how old-school HTTP works.
And the upsides of this direct, no-fluff approach are huge. Because it's so lean, so close to the metal, you get ridiculously low latency and super high throughput. This is exactly what you need for things like live financial data or fast-paced multiplayer games. And since it's a web standard, it just works everywhere. Different browsers, different servers, different devices, they can all speak this universal language.
Okay, so we've seen the engine. Now, let's check out the full car built around it. Socket.io. You'll see right away that its main goal isn't just about raw speed, it's all about making a developer's life way easier.
And this is where Socket.io has its moment to shine. See, it's smart. It'll try to use a WebSocket connection first, because that's the fastest. But what if it can't? Maybe you've got a user on an ancient browser, or they're behind a strict corporate firewall. Well, Socket.io doesn't just give up. It automatically, gracefully falls back to another method, like HTTP long polling, just to make sure the connection stays alive. That automatic reliability, that's its killer feature.
And it doesn't stop there. On top of that fallback magic, you get automatic reconnection right out of the box. So if a user's internet connection flickers, Socket.io handles it. You get a super simple, event-based way to send and receive messages. And you get these incredibly powerful tools on the server, like rooms, which let you broadcast messages to specific groups of users. All of this, it's just built in.
All right, so now we have the two contenders, the raw, powerful engine versus the comfortable, feature-packed car. This brings us right to the heart of the decision you have to make. What are you optimizing for? Is it raw performance and total control, or is it development speed and a whole bunch of convenient built-in features?
And this slide, right here, sums up that core trade-off perfectly. With WebSocket, you're basically the mechanic and the driver. You're in charge of every little detail, every byte, every handshake, all to squeeze out the absolute maximum performance. But with Socket.io, you're just handing the keys to a valet. The library takes care of all the messy, complex parts for you, giving you an experience of maximum convenience.
Okay, let's really get into the nitty-gritty with this table. So, type, we know this one, protocol versus library. Transport, WebSocket's a purist. It only does WebSocket. Socket.io has those clever fallbacks. Performance, WebSocket's going to be faster because it has minimal overhead. Reconnection, you got to build that yourself with WebSockets, but it's totally automatic in Socket.io. And this last one is super important. A standard WebSocket server can talk to any standard WebSocket client, but a Socket.io server, it needs a Socket.io client. They have to be speaking the same specific dialect. So let's talk more about that performance hit. All those amazing, convenient features in Socket.io, they don't come for free. Every single message you send gets wrapped in this extra layer of metadata, things like event names and packet types. Now, as you can see here, that adds overhead. For a handful of users, you're never going to notice. But what happens when you have thousands of connections? All that extra data on every single message starts to add up. It hits your server performance and it hits your bandwidth bill.
Okay, so with all of that in mind, how do you actually make the right choice? It really all comes down to one thing: matching the tool to what your project actually needs.
You're going to want to go with raw WebSockets when performance is king. I mean, when it is absolutely non-negotiable. We're talking high-frequency trading platforms, real-time multiplayer games where every millisecond counts. We're streaming massive amounts of data. If you need to wring every last drop of performance out of the connection, or you need to guarantee that your service can talk to a non-JavaScript backend, then WebSocket is your weapon of choice.
Now, on the flip side, you're going to choose Socket.io when getting things done fast is your #1 priority. If you're building a classic chat app, a real-time notification system, or some kind of collaborative tool, especially in a Node.js world, Socket.io lets you get from zero to a working prototype incredibly quickly. You're making a conscious choice here. You're trading a little bit of that raw performance for huge gain in convenience.
But wait, there's one more really important piece to this puzzle. What happens when your app is a wild success, like a global hit? All of a sudden, that initial choice between WebSocket and Socket.io starts to feel a lot less important than the brand new, giant set of problems you're now facing.
I mean, when you start hitting numbers like this, 1 million+ concurrent connections from users all over the world, your problem isn't just about the protocol anymore. At this point, you are facing massive, complex infrastructure challenges that, honestly, neither raw WebSockets nor Socket.io were ever designed to solve all by themselves.
Just think about it for a second. How do you handle something like a reconnection storm, where a tiny network hiccup brings thousands of users back online all at once? How do you guarantee that a critical message gets delivered, even if a server crashes right in the middle of sending it? How do you even begin to scale your infrastructure across different continents? These are seriously hard problems that go way, way beyond what a simple library or protocol can do for you.
And so that brings us to the final and maybe most important question you need to ask yourself. The choice isn't just a technical one, it's a strategic one. Are you building a prototype for today, where speed and convenience are everything? Or are you architecting a system for tomorrow, one that needs to be ready for the massive, complex challenges of huge scale? The right answer? Well, it depends entirely on where your project is right now, and more importantly, where you're planning to go.